La, 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 la.
Welcome, Truth Seekers. You're listening to A Measure of Truth on blogtalkradio.com, and I'm your host, Michael Fordham. If you just clicked the link on my webpage, or you're listening on blogtalkradio.com, or even the Blog Talk Radio player on my Facebook page, and you want to call in live, look, we'd love to talk with you. So give us a call. The number is 347-326-9470. Oh, need a minute to get something to write with? But don't worry, I'll give the number again right after the commentary. Or if you like, you can Twitter me your questions and comments at twitter.com/A Measure of Truth. Also, if you haven't yet, why don't you look me up on Facebook? I'm the Michael Fordham with a photo of me in studio, and you can always email me your questions and comments at ameasureoftruth@gmail.com. Look, we got a great show for you today. We'll be right back after this. Tonight on A Measure of Truth, we talk with Janet Thomas, founder of Bible Stories Theater of Fine and Performing Arts. This is a company that's dedicated to developing the total child by using educational theater programs and fully staged productions to build self-esteem, confidence, and a sense of community while celebrating diversity in a supportive, non-competitive atmosphere. The performing arts are a rigorous academic discipline which requires active learning through creation, practice, rehearsal, and performance of works of art. We, with great pleasure, bring to you Janet Thomas, founder of Bible Stories Theater and Fine and Performing Arts. Janet Thomas, welcome to A Measure of Truth.
Glad to be here.
Oh, well, thank you for joining us. And, you got a pretty unique company going on there, Bible Studies Theater. Tell us a little bit about where this concept came from.
Oh, it's Bible Stories?
Yes, Bible Stories Theater.
Actually, God spoke to me. I had been teaching Sunday school for, 15, 20 years. And I had been writing fiction novels, and I had a published novel, and one of the members of my church asked me to write a stage play. And I told him I don't do stage plays, and he continued to gently pester me, and I said, no, I don't do stage plays. So I lent it and did a stage play for the church, for that one persistent person. And from that time on, the Lord has told me that that was what he would have me to do. Having wrote a fiction novel since, it's all been stage productions geared toward the children, because I was a primary and first grade Sunday school teacher, so my passion had always been for the small children, and they're more open and thrilled to learn, and they're visual, very visual, so, and they understand when you put it before them and in their face.
Now, how long had you been a writer prior to this?
I have been writing since 1994.
Okay. And these fiction novels, are there something that we would recognize?
Probably.
Okay. Tell us some of the titles.
The title is, the first one that I wrote was Prisoners of Passion. The second was Passion Relinquished. And the third is For the Love of My Man.
Now, the reason
totally
why I wanted
different from gospel.
Yes, exactly. So, this was a major departure for you to go into writing plays and not novels, as well as, changing your focus as well. And tell us about that. Yeah, tell us a little bit about that defining moment that had you to just continue on that path. When it actually hit you that this is the thing you need to be doing?
If I could put a finger on it, I would have to say I felt like Abraham when God told him to leave his country, to leave his family, to leave his kindred. And I was kicking and fighting and screaming the whole way because I was into myself, thinking that the road to success was in fiction novels, and I was thinking along the path of the world where people love politics, crime, dysfunctional families, and that was what seemed to be selling at the time that I was writing. And plus, my story was based on the city of Alexandria, where I lived.
Oh, okay.
So it was a love triangle.
Mm-hmm. So when you started with Bible Stories Theater, tell us a little bit about how this actually came about. I mean, what made you decide after doing this play to create a theater company based on this whole idea and concept?
When I first got the concept to do Bible Stories Theater was when I did the very first stage production for myself was titled Nefertiti, 18th Dynasty. And I was doing the research for the background for my family tree, and I thought that I was descended from Nefertiti. And in doing the research, the Holy Spirit hit me and said, well, that's why you need to look into yourself before you grab hold to something and cling to it, because it might not be godly. And so my background in studying and teaching the Bible to Sunday school students, the passion came to when I see their faces light up. And when I was doing auditions for the stage plays, many of the people that responded were young people. And it wasn't until I began to work with the young people that I realized just how deeply troubled the teens were. One of the people that I linked with was a community worker in the recreation center, and he had a lot of children who he said it would be good to work with me, and he asked me, are you going to be able to handle it? And I'm like, why? He said, because they're rough, they're from the street. And that's when I found out that when you give them something to deter them from the streets and you give them something constructive, you teach them lighting, you teach them stage dressing, building the craft, costumes, then they're focused on something that's positive, and they're not on the street. They're dedicated to 6 to 8 weeks of vigorous rehearsals, building this. And one of the things that we did was when we went to Suitland High School, they have a department where they teach sound and lighting, and that was very instrumental. So I was hooked. I'm like, this is what the children need in the whole metropolitan area.
So how many kids are you talking about that are involved in the stage plays that you put together?
Well, just to give you a clue, Nefertiti, we had 40 to 45 cast crew.
Wow, that's just the cast?
The cast. That was, and out of those 45 to 50, maybe 12 were adults.
Mm-hmm. And then there was crew as well, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So in total, how many people, how many young people would you say?
$25.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. So, and tell us about the performances and the impact. What was the response when you guys actually put on your production?
We did a production at a school in Landover, Thomas Johnson School. We did that for a lunchtime production, and the response was tremendous. And we would call back 2 more times.
Really?
And that was at the request of the students.
So how big an audience would you say that was then?
At that time we did 7th and 8th grade. So the whole 7th and 8th grade were at each production.
And they really responded to it.
So they brought their parents. Yes.
Now, this is something that's done at a secular school, and you're talking about Bible stories. And there was a huge response to that. You know, that's something that most people wouldn't think would have happened. Did you expect that as well?
Well, I did not, and that was because at the time I presented it to the principal. It was presented as an educational piece because it was Egyptian, and it was part of their studies into that period. Now, if I present it to a school now, I cannot use the word Bible.
I see. Really?
Yeah.
Wow. And so.
And I even get the response from some churches as well.
Okay. So they allow you to. Are there any other restrictions on the way you present your material other than not calling the production Bible?
Oh, that's the only thing.
Oh, well,
that's the only thing.
Good.
I cannot use the word Bible. I cannot use biblical. I can't use religion in the title at all.
But the stories are, you know, still authentic and exact, and they are the Bible, so the instruction is there.
Yes. But even when I get the restriction from some schools, they tell me I can do it because I do have awareness in the arts for children before the title of Bible Stories. So they tell me to be very careful not to use Bible Stories there. It's just restricted to awareness in the arts.
You know,
I don't say Bible.
It's just a shame that the world has come to this. There was a time where we would sing hymns in school, you know. There was a time where there was prayer in school, you know, and it's just amazing today because we're looking at the changes in our young people. So to have you go back into a school environment and have people actually respond to what you do, I think is commendable in itself. And it's just very curious to me that the market for this is the young people that need it most.
But the restriction is not just in the schools. Some of the community organizations, you would be surprised, who will not sponsor or participate in donating if they're very, very big in the community. Very big. Some of the organizations that we shop at who give heaps of money to will not give, if I use the word Bible.
Well, tell us a little bit. We want to make sure we get a chance to talk about this as well because you have some events coming up and even some contests, I believe, and like that. Tell us a little bit about some of the goings-on and some of the ways you're reaching out to the young people.
One of the things that I'm very, 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 very excited about is, and I had to change the name to this as well, was one of our fundraisers, and that was a double Dutch competition, and it was called Jumping for Jesus. And in my recruiting of volunteers, I gave each one a list of 10 schools, 10 recreation centers to go to and recruit the teenagers and double Dutch teams. And one of the things that told me was that they were hitting a brick wall because the teachers and the schools and the recreation centers wouldn't let them sign up children on their site, but they could come back when they were after school or out of school and get the youth. So the White House, Michelle Obama, is fighting against obesity. So I'm excited about doing the Jumping for Jesus. And we haven't had a double Dutch competition in the metropolitan area for many, many, many years, and I'm excited about that. The second is the Corey's Bearable Storytelling. a playhouse, which is meant to be along the line of Romper Room, Sesame Street, but the difference is we will be telling stories in a visual part using a lady, and then we would have bears who are in costumes as bears, and they would be telling the stories, demonstrating the acting part of the story.
Oh,
and after
okay.
that, for this Christmas, I will be doing a major big Christmas production called Emmanuel.
And where will that be performed?
Don't have a venue yet, but we are searching in the metropolitan area for a venue.
And you guys are already in rehearsing right now?
We will be rehearsing the first week of September.
Wow. You know, I want to come to one of your rehearsals one day. I want to get a chance to meet some of these young people that are involved and do a little, on-the-spot interview with some of those folks as well, something that we can add to the next time we have you on when you're actually closer to the date of this production. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back with that shortly, right after this.
Hi, I'm Michael Fordham, host of A Measure of Truth on blogtalkradio.com. And I just wanted to let you know that during the next few months, Healthy Kinder Incorporated will be running its Give 5 campaign to raise money for childhood obesity prevention programs throughout the metropolitan area. Please visit the Give 5 campaign page on the website today at healthykinderkids.org to learn more about how you can make a significant difference in the lives of our children. Please share this message with your friends and family members to support this very important and worthy cause. Even their children can benefit from the Healthy Kinder programs. We encourage you to contact your congressperson and state representatives and ask them to support President Obama's health care reform plan. Prevention is key to the survival of our future generation. And thank you for taking time out of your busy day for A Measure of Truth.
Welcome back, Truth Seekers. You're listening to A Measure of Truth on blogtalkradio.com, and we're talking with Janet